You know what that means. It's time for Ignition with the AEW Fan Hub podcast team. This is Kelson. And guys, I wanted to start off the show. It's February. It's our first show of February. And I wanted to join all Elite Wrestling in wishing everybody, sincerely, a happy Black History Month. I think that it's a big deal for me personally. I think it should be a big deal for everybody. So just wanted to say that. Happy Black History Month. Let's celebrate it. And let's celebrate it throughout the year, not just in February. We've got a lot to talk about, guys, because we had a heck of a week of wrestling. Not only with AEW Dynamite and Collision, but also a lot of stuff coming out of New Japan. Of course, Royal Rumble with WWE. But let's face it, there is no bigger story in the professional wrestling world. And I challenge anybody to argue with me here. There's no bigger story than the prospects of this asshole here on screen, Wheeler Yuta, potentially losing that gigantic mane of hair on Valentine's Day at Grand Slam Sydney. Do you guys think that there's any chance that any of the other wrestlers in this match are going to lose their hair?
I totally expect Toni Storm to have her head shaved. I bet you this was her idea.
You know what? That crossed my mind.
Remember from the live chat, I'm like, are we getting a hair versus hair match? And then I was like, because I'm just thinking like Toni will totally shave her head. She totally would. I also want to note, bald Wheeler Yuta looks like a very young Minoru Suzuki.
He does. He does. For
Doesn't
those
he?
of you,
Very young, yeah.
And there's Net. How you doing, Net?
Hey, I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good. Yeah, we're talking about the prospects of Wheeler Yuta losing his hair on Valentine's Day at Grand Slam Sydney. I thought that Wheeler, by the way, for those of you who are not watching this on video, I did a really, really, really awful Photoshop where I removed Wheeler Yuta's hair and his beard. And yeah, he does look like a young Minoru Suzuki.
You need to...
What was that? What was that, Net? Because we lost you.
Oh. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. I said remove his eyebrows, too.
I didn't want to get weird.
Yeah, that'd be too much. That'd be
Re-edit it and put like the lines in his head like Suzuki does.
I really don't want to put that much effort into this. I kind of thought he looked like one of those monks you would find up on top of a mountain, taking care of sheep and sitting in front of a fountain.
I can see that too.
I don't know. But anyway.
So we getting Wheeler shape. Who's losing their hair? Let's vote. So Kelson, you're certain Wheeler's using this.
Look, I feel like if Wheeler Yuta doesn't lose his hair, people will riot. They will riot.
I don't know, man.
I want him to, but I also think he should dye his hair white and become like the sage of...
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like the Monkey King.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Monkey King. With the hair that he has, he would look like the Monkey King from, Chinese culture.
Yeah,
gimmick change, give him like this old wooden staff with some knots in it and some like gray flowing Jedi robes and stuff.
Right.
With the white, and maybe he can do like the crazy mustache from like the old school kung fu movies and stuff.
Yeah.
But he takes it off before the match. He removes the mustache. It's only for entrances. Yeah, it's only for entrances.
Will we have the Groucho Marx glasses as well?
We should. Oh yeah. And
no.
Maybe give him like a pipe or something.
The long white eyebrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
don't know,
that.
but whenever I look at this picture, I see Wheeler Yuta entrance with a goat. I don't know why. I just see him coming in with a goat.
Goat works. So come out with like a flock
He
of
will
pygmy
have a
goats.
goat because after he gets his head shaved, he's going to have a change of heart and apologize to Brian Danielson, who will become his manager.
Oh,
Brian's
God.
neck's messed up. He can't do anything right
Yeah,
now.
Brian can't even travel anymore.
He
It
can't
seems
even
like.
fly. His neck's so messed up.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, he probably tried to do too much too soon. I don't know.
He's retired. What? What do you want?
He-
He can't do any less.
Well, he's been
He's
doing
not-
commentary. He joined the commentary team,
It's easier
and
than
he was
taking
traveling
bumps.
from. I know turbulence
Yeah, but
is
I mean,
a bitch,
all
man.
that travel can.
Yeah, the travel definitely for sure.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
said
less
before.
than he was doing when he was wrestling. I mean, he was traveling just as much, but he's getting up there. I mean, like
Yeah,
it's-
I mean, he's
somebody
gotta be
else is
the-
yeah. Go ahead.
He's got to be in his 40s now. I mean, geez. I mean, he's practically 2 or 3 years removed from wearing Depends.
Probably. He's got some bladder
Oh,
control
wow.
issues, man.
No, he needs to have surgery, but that should, make him where he could come back and do commentary and all that and be okay. Like, he's not going to get back in the ring, but that surgery will allow him to be regular on commentary and backstage and all that.
All right,
It's
how do we
just
get
gonna
on to
take
Brian?
a
We
while.
need to talk about people losing their hair. We got to get back on
Yes,
topic here.
yes.
Carlson. Get this
All
under
Brian
control.
Danielson does
That's on
have.
topic.
At times, Brian Danielson did have a pretty unruly mane of hair
He did.
going on.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
I mean, not Wheeler Yuta incredibly bad, but it was getting there.
I don't want Grease Boy to lose his hair, man. Like,
So you
He's
want
so
Tony
greasy.
Storm? You want Tony?
I don't want Tony Storm, but I would not be shocked if we find out this entire thing was her idea.
No, I agree. With you.
Especially if she's the one that ends up losing her hair, and like, come on, it's Tony Storm. You know she'd do it. I'm willing to put money that we find out it was her idea.
Well, here's my thing. The hell with it. I just say screw it. And whoever wins, whoever loses this match, we shave RJ City's head. Period.
Ooh,
I love it. I love it.
Sacrificial lamb. Yeah, good call. Whipping boy. Mm-hmm.
There you go. And then maybe give him a graphic.
That
give him a
can
graphic.
be how he finally gets his graphic.
After his head shaved.
Right. After his head is shaved, give him a graphic. And after he grows his hair back, refuse to change his AEW roster page picture.
You got to get his name
I
wrong.
love
Instead
it.
of RJ City, it's like JR State or something like that. Just like get
CJ Town.
Yeah, there it is. CJ Town. Yeah.
CJ Town.
CJ
Oh my
Town.
gosh.
CJ Town is all elite. That's it.
God almighty. This
There you
show
go.
is weird. I'm
We've
sorry.
got-
This show
hey,
is weird.
It's Kafabe.
It's Kafabi. We're not even there yet. And wait till you see the graphic for this week's Kafabi. Our last section of the show is It's Kafabi. It's kind of a potpourri of thoughts, from the team here. And I make a really horrible custom graphic every time. You missed it last week. Did you see the graphic from last week, Barry?
I listened on audio, so no, I did not.
It was, I'll have to send it to you. It was Kyle Fletcher wearing a pink Matador outfit, just like you had asked. And
Excellent.
he was beautiful.
You have the pencil mustache.
I don't know. I can't remember.
He
to be
didn't.
honest.
He forgot the pencil mustache.
That's key.
Oh,
Yeah.
send it to me, Kelson, please.
Well, whatever. But you know what? I hate to get off of this topic,
Jeez.
but we need to move on because we do have a lot to talk about. And we're going to talk about, Tomasso Ciampa came
Yes, sir.
into AEW and won the AEW TNT Championship. And I want to stress this. When you say his last name, because it's spelled Ciampa or Ciampa or whatever, just replace the I with an H and it's Ciampa. It's really simple. That's not his real name, and I don't know why he picked that. And I'm saying this meaning I really am interested in knowing why he picked that last name. If anybody knows or would like to find out, let us know. But Ciampa is not his real last name, but that's something he picked. So is it a homage to somebody from his past or something? I don't know. So I'm interested to know why he picked that last name. But anyway, he comes into AEW and he becomes the new TNT champion. What do you guys think? Not much, obviously.
Okay. I loved it. I think the TNT title, I've long wished it was treated like a TV title. I love the open challenge idea, and I think Tampa is the right guy to, come in that way to take, because, if it was the world title, hell no, that's messed up. But the TNT TV belt, he can have a nice long, open challenge run, just go balls to the wall with 6, 7 matches in a row, and then drop it at a pay-per-view, and he'll come out just fine. The title will be elevated, and whoever beats him for it gets that big boost as well.
Just out of curiosity, I just wanted to ask everybody a question. How many of you were familiar with Ciampa's wrestling before he came into AEW?
Me.
Barry, you knew of him.
Yeah.
Just black and gold.
I saw some of his stuff in Ring of Honor before NXT, but I really enjoyed his work in NXT. Is it DIY was his DIY, right? Yeah.
Yeah, him and Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, Gargano. Enjoyed their work. If you're a fan of guys who can work, Ciampa is probably somebody you'll enjoy. I'm less familiar with his promo skills and mic skills. As far as I'm aware, it's not incredibly strong, but it's serviceable, which in AEW is fine. But yeah, I think he's going to be a good addition. I'm kind of iffy. I mean, he's 40, Tony's been focusing on a lot of younger talent lately, so there are some limitations there, but he's in incredible shape. He is excited to go there. And we've seen that performers that want to go to AEW from other promotions tend to be the best, as opposed to people who get let go. So I'm excited to see his run, man.
Have you seen his interviews? I mean, there's plenty of videos out there where he talks about wanting to go to AEW. Very, very similar to what Tekla said, to be honest with you. I was impressed. I had never seen him wrestle before. Not ashamed to admit it.
Really?
I just had never seen him wrestle before. So I didn't know anything about him. And you know what surprised me the most about him? There's two things that surprised me most about Ciampa.
His blue eyes.
That kind of took me back. But it does have something to do with what my first point. And I'd like to hear you guys' opinions on this. My first point of two is that when he first came out, was literally the first time I'd seen him. I was completely ignorant of Ciampa before he came out. When he got introduced on, what was it, Dynamite last week? He got introduced, right?
Yeah.
He came out with those piercing blue eyes, and just the way he looked. I'm thinking, like, this guy is a mega heel. And he's like he's the complete opposite. He's like the biggest baby face in the company. You know what I mean? I mean, surely there could be a change in that, but right now he's coming off with his interviews and what he said and his backstage stuff that they showed. He's coming off like the biggest babyface in AEW. The second thing is, yes, he's 40 years old, and I fully admit that I was a little concerned at his age, but to your point, AEW, Barry, AEW has been signing a lot of young, really young talent, but you need veteran talent to show them what the hell to do.
And you need the types of vets that work the way you want to see them work, too.
Right. So
I think that's a good point. Go ahead.
So when I saw Briscoe versus Ciampa, again, being totally ignorant, that was literally, and Barry, you're going to have to mute, buddy.
Sure.
the when I saw Briscoe versus Ciampa, that was literally the first time I had seen Ciampa work. I had never seen him before. So that being said, that was my first exposure to him, and I was like, this is good because he can definitely work. Of course, he was working with Mark Briscoe, and he had apparently worked several times before. And Briscoe is known for being a good worker. You had two good workers in that match working with and against each other. And it worked. It was a great debut. What did you guys think of his debut match and him winning the AEW TNT Championship?
Okay, I'll go. Um, I've I've watched him other places. I've never watched him in Ring of Honor, but guys, he's good enough. I thought he was going to be a heel as well, Kelson. But in my opinion, I can't name a lot of great faces that have been around in the TNT title and mid card, and we need one. I know for a fact he'll turn, and when he turns, the uses of Psycho Killer will be very much appreciated more for a heel than a face on this Titan screen. But
Let me ask you this, MK. Do you think that he should turn heel? Do you think he should?
yes, eventually he should turn heel. I think he needs to lose it as a face first and then come back as a heel because he is a great heel. I believe in NXT he turned on Johnny Gargano and they had a nice year-long feud. He's better to me. He has the look of a heel with the beard and the bald together. He's just an overall better heel. There are people out there in the wrestling industry who are better heels than faces, and I think Tomasso Ciampa is a better heel.
Fair enough. I'd like to hear some other opinions on Ciampa. What do you guys feel?
Uh, as far as the heel face thing, I kind of agree with him. He's a guy who can do both well, but he is better in the heel role. So, yeah, eventually he should turn, but I don't think it needs to be really quick. I think, you can stretch it out for a while, maybe do the kind of mentor, thing with him, and then, like, the kid he's mentoring starts getting better, wins the title that he lost, and that just makes him snap kind of deal. Just a
Right.
random ass idea, one possible. Um, I thought the match was great. I loved it, back and forth. There was the respect shown, but like once the bell rang, it was I'm here to beat you. You're here to beat me. Ain't no messing about it. They just went
Right.
at it. It was
Right.
great.
It was a very workmanlike match. They
Yeah.
worked well together. Um, I want to go to Net. Net, what do you feel about Champa and his run here? I mean, his initial. What's your first impression of Champa in AEW?
I like him. I also have never seen him before, so uh, I was just taking it as I go. But I like him so far. I think he has the crowd, and he clearly has a lot of fans. And I think that he's a good face. I can see him turning heel eventually, but like we've said before, AEW has enough heels. So let's have a good face run with him until something happens that he turns. But I'd like to see him for a while be the way he is. He's really personable and fun.
Net,
So
let
yeah,
me ask you a question.
sure.
So, I mean, you're like me. We've never seen Champa before. Nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that. But according to the other guys, he's a really good heel. But he's definitely a baby face right now. Would you agree with that? That he's a baby face right now?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would
Okay.
definitely agree.
What better way to combat a heel than having them going against a heelish baby face? You know, do you agree with that statement? Like, hey, Champa has experience being a heel. Let's
Mm-hmm.
keep him as a heel and let him get these heels in line. Let's show him that he's the kind of person that apparently knows the tricks. I mean,
Yeah, I can
obviously
see that.
kayfabe, but
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that, and I would like a good build up to it. It doesn't happen immediately. Almost that it happens and we don't even realize that it's happened. That's how I would like to see it played. So the slow burn, so to speak. Yeah, I'm here for it.
cool. Barry, let's hear what you've got to say about Tomasso Ciampa.
I think bringing him in as a babyface was a smart move, specifically for some of the stuff that you mentioned, Kelson. People aren't. I hate using the term hardcore wrestling fans because, like, it's just if you watched NXT or Ring of Honor, I don't think you're hardcore per se, but that's where he made a name for himself. He wasn't a huge guy on the main roster in WWE, so bringing in a talent as a babyface as opposed to a heel is a safer move. I also think you have the opportunity if you want to keep him working with Mark, and the plan is to turn him heel. There are very few baby faces more sympathetic than Mark. And so having him turn heel against Briscoe in a rematch or something else down the line is good. But the other thing too, I really liked about this is we've seen with the TNT title, um, they are not scared to have shorter reigns with it. And it's interesting because we all expect, okay, this is going to be a longer run. This is going to be a longer run. Fletcher only had it for a little bit. Briscoe only had it for a little bit. I don't expect Ciampa to hold it for too long. And I think that's coming back to what MK said. That's the right move for this belt. And it's a great way to introduce Ciampa as a major player. Bring him in, strap him up with a mid card talent, get some established real quick. Be like, this is a serious player, and you can plug and play into some top mid card feuds and keep that thing going. AEW's got a lot of challengers for their titles and a lot of good programs with multiple challengers right now, and I think that's a good step for this year.
All right, we're going to be talking in a segment not too long from now about AEW and Ring of Honor and who's on the watch list, who's going to come up and challenge for these titles, and not only just challenge for the titles, but insinuate themselves in storylines that are non-title storylines, because we've discussed it before. That non-title storylines are just as important as title storylines. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room that is AJ Styles. He is now wrapped up with WWE at Royal Rumble, and there's just so much. He's not said anything, really, but there's so much rampant speculation about where he's going. Some people have said TNA, but if he was going to go to TNA, TNA's partnered with WWE. Why would he retire from WWE? He could just move over to TNA if that's what he wanted to do. Some people have said New Japan. And frankly, that would be a pretty interesting move simply because New Japan's in trouble, folks. And I think maybe in a future podcast, or maybe even in our final segment today, maybe Chris will have something to say about, New Japan is just bleeding talent. Let's put it that way. What is going on? But also, of course, there's been the speculation that he may come to AEW. Styles is 48 years old. He does not look like a 48-year-old wrestler. What do you think? What would you like to see and why?
Net, this is your name written all over it.
It has my name written all over it.
It
Yeah,
does.
it's on the
If you-
graphic
if you-
right there.
If
It
you
says
look at the
Net.
graphic at the top left, there's a little red dot. And it's in that little red dot, your name is written all over it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, if
Oh
you
my
zoom in,
God.
it's like 0.2 font, but it's there.
Oh my
it's there.
goodness.
You have to squint.
I put a lot of work into that.
Why?
I can't see it. I did have to squint.
Yes. But go
Yeah,
ahead,
I
Nat.
have to squint.
I'm interested to hear, Nat, let's hear what your opinions are on AJ Styles. Where do you think, should he stay retired or is he going to go somewhere? What do you think? Let's hear speculation. This is our fantasy booking time.
Oh, okay. I think that he would come to AEW. I don't think he would necessarily wrestle every week, but I can see him being around. So I I'd like to see it. I think he's a good wrestler, fun guy. So I would like to see him come on over, but maybe not all the time. I don't know. And why am I on that little dot? So-
Because when I think of red dots, I think of Simply Net.
oh my god. Why is that a thing?
Wow.
I don't know why. It's just something, you know. I
Okay.
I go to when I get stopped. You have to keep this in mind, that I'm not
Uh-huh.
stalking you or anything, but I
Uh-huh.
think about you at every red light.
Oh my god.
Yeesh.
Okay.
Okay,
Wow.
back on topic. Who brought
Okay,
up
AJ Styles. Yeah, AJ Styles. I would love to see him in AEW. Maybe he comes around as like wanting to say hi to old friends and is like just kind of hanging out, checking out the show, does some guest commentary, here and there, but gets sucked into like a trios match with the Young Bucks, you know, and then you could kind of make him like he'll have matches like, okay, he wants another match with Kenny, he wants another match with. Actually, I don't know if him and Hangman ever had a match. I know they were in Bullet Club at the same time, but I don't know if like they ever matched up in a G1 or anything. So, some first time matches with people. I'd love to see him in that kind of role. Uh,
Do you see him? Maybe I'm interested in your opinion on this, but also the others. William Regal. I mean, Regal was a little bit more removed from his wrestling days when he came into AEW, but do you see perhaps AJ Styles being in more of a William Regal type role if he were to come into AEW? Kind of being the
No,
big mentor.
I don't.
I could see that working, but it would have to be like the right team and the right story, and I'm not sure who that is right now.
All right, well, let's go to the dissenting opinion. That was Barry saying that he
Yeah.
does not like that idea. So let's hear what your
I
opinion
it's
about Styles is.
yeah, so I'm a huge AJ Styles mark. I've been a fan of his since the indie scene. He was one of the people I was super excited to see in TNA initially because that was, back when I first started watching AJ, I can only get his stuff on tapes, like VHS tapes. So seeing him on TV was great. Joe, Roddy, Petey Williams, all those guys were why I watched TNA pay-per-views, never watched the weekly TV, but I would buy those pay-per-views to watch that X division. Um, didn't get to see him in Japan because the streaming wasn't really a thing when he was running there. And I was really excited when he popped back up in WWE. But he's 48 and his personality does not work the way that Regals did for his mentorship. I don't think as a character that would work out. Um, I don't see him being a full-time performer. I also don't know if his contract is up with WWE. I think Sean Ross Sapp said there's a lot of ambiguity, even Meltzer maybe, about what his contract status is. So maybe he's retired from wrestling full time, but he may still have another 18 months or something. I don't know what the contract thing is.
I think
Um,
and I may be totally off base here, Barry, but I think I did read March of 2026. His contract
okay,
is
so
up.
next month. Okay,
I believe it could be February.
yeah,
It
but
could be
he's
February.
also the kind of performer. I think I don't remember who said that a second ago. Where I could see him wanting to do a couple work with a couple other performers before he does hang it up for good. And at 48, that clock is ticking. It's the same thing Copeland did. There were some people he wasn't going to get a chance to work with. He wanted to, unless he made the jump. And if you look at pro wrestling like actors and acting, there are a lot of actors which will go work in smaller movies, different movies, genres they're not used to, specifically to work with performers and other actors they wanted to work with. And if he comes to AEW or does some limited New Japan dates or whatever, I could see that happening. But at 48, I have a hard time believing he's looking to do anything long term. It may be a case of, I am done full time. I'm just gonna pick a couple spots. I wouldn't be shocked if they run a short term program and he shows up for something for All In. Maybe they do that. But I'm not as on expecting him to show up in AEW as some other people are.
Okay, fair enough. MK, do you have any opinions about this?
So I really would love for him to just retire for a little bit, but the only feud I really want MJF to go do in AEW. Sorry, yeah, I gave it away. I want AJ Styles versus MJF. That's what I want because he's a big name. I mean, I don't want people he's. I don't want to see people he's done in the past. I want him versus somebody he's never been before, and I think a, MJF is a good enough talker so that he can handle that. AJ's a decent talker, but the two in the ring together would blow the roof off the place. And AJ, when he comes to AEW, deserves the hugest pop like what Tomasso Ciampa got, and
Oh,
an
it'd be
even bigger
bigger
one.
than that. It'd be huge.
It would be
He'd
bigger
get a
than that.
monster reception.
I agree.
People
But I
would
want
lose
to
their
see him
mind.
fight the fights he's never fought before.
Kevin Knight.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah,
but
First
bigger,
name on my
bigger,
list.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's weird because only AJ Styles knows what AJ Styles is going to do. You know, I firmly believe that. Does AEW need AJ Styles? No, no, they don't. Would AEW benefit from having AJ Styles? Absolutely. Any wrestling company would benefit from having AJ Styles, even if, and I want to stress this, even if he doesn't step foot in a wrestling match in any company that he joins. If he just falls into the William Regal role with the Blackpool Combat Club and never really does any wrestling whatsoever, he would still be a big deal. I guess that's the point that
Yeah.
I'm trying to make.
Yeah. Carlson, thinking back, a non-camera role, but a non-wrestling role, it can work. I don't know if like in that maybe I'm taking you too literally in what Regal did as opposed to just generally like some sort of lead of some faction. It could work, or some other role on TV. I mean, he's fun, he's a good looking dude, he's personable enough, and he's one of the greatest to ever do it, and has earned that right. So I think there
Right.
could be a spot for him on TV. Yeah.
I don't think anybody can argue with what you just said. AJ Styles is one of the best that's ever done it. But when you look at the best that's ever done it, they all have to start somewhere. And AEW and Ring of Honor have a lot of wrestlers that are either veterans or just starting out, that could be big if given the right opportunity, the right storylines. So let's talk about who is on your AEW, and make sure you keep Ring of Honor in this. Who is on your Ring of Honor and AEW watch list for wrestlers that are up and coming that you can see are about maybe they're going to get their dues pretty soon? What do you guys think?
Mine is the Crew. Well, it used to be the Swirl. Now they're the Crew. I think with Jay
The
Lethal
Swirl,
has went with them.
Swirl and Crew are two different things.
Are you sure?
Swirl
I thought
is
okay.
Blake Christian and uh, uh, who is Blake Christian's partner? Oh my God!
You have him on the screen right now.
Oh yeah, uh, Lee Johnson, and that's the Swirl. The Crew
Uh-huh.
is Action
Also known as
Andretti, and
Mr. Juliet.
Okay.
yeah,
I've been
two different
watching
things.
on Ring of Honor, and Jay Lethal has joined those. Has joined the Swirl. I don't know if they have a name yet, but I think he would be a great mentor to bring them up on their go for a trios title. I'm just glad Jay Lethal is honestly away from Jeff Jarrett and all that craziness, and he can mentor. He's done it all. He does a lot of stuff, and I think those guys need something because I like Christian Blake. He may look like a crazy white boy, but he's got the talent. Um, they all three do together, and I think it's time to bring those guys up and interject more in the tag team division.
I'm gonna go with some lady picks here. So I've talked a few times
Well,
about Red
hello.
Velvet. Yeah, you've got
Yeah,
picks P I
that
C
didn't
K S,
that didn't
not
sound
picks as
exactly
in
right.
pictures. Yeah, yeah. So there you go.
Okay.
Um, so you've got Red Velvet on here. I mentioned before. I really like her a lot. She's pretty. She is a great worker. She's got a good move set. She's fun to watch, and I'm bummed she's not on AEW TV. I'm glad they've found a spot for her in Ring of Honor and are using her there. But I would really like to see her back on AEW TV. And then another female performer I'd like to see get the call up is Billy Starks. So I've been a fan of hers. She's been on AEW TV a decent amount, but her and Athena being on Ring of Honor together, I think it's holding Billy back. I'd like to see her showcase more, and I think she's a talent they really should get behind and develop for the main roster.
Yeah, I could absolutely agree with that. Well, let's go to Net and Chris, whichever one wants to go first. Let's hear what you got to say.
I was gonna say the same thing, Billy Starks. I'm a huge Billy Starks fan. I would like to see her have more TV time. She is phenomenal in the ring, at least to me. Um, for her to be so young, she has a lot of potential and a pretty long career ahead of her. So there's a lot that they can do with her. I also like Red Velvet and Blake Christian. I would like to see them have more time, more storylines. Red Velvet is really, really good. And to me, she doesn't get enough time. She's back from her injury, and we should see a lot more of her. So that's who I would say.
Very good, Chris.
Uh, for me, it's Shane Taylor Promotions, pretty much all around. Lee Moriarty, amazing technical wrestler, good high flyer, great charisma. I think there's a lot of upside to him. Infantry, fantastic tag team, just some really good combo work. Uh, they've got character personality too. Trish Adora, she's awesome. Uh, like the whole group is just people who are like almost there, just ready to take the reins if they're given the chance. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, on the graphic, you can see that I have Tony Nese on the graphic. If you've been watching Ring of Honor, I personally feel like Tony Nese has been killing it. I would not be upset. We've already talked about how the TNT Championship seems to hot potato a little bit more, which I enjoy. I would not be upset at all if Tony Nese had a turn with the TNT Championship. Then again, if Ring of Honor becomes bigger, the Ring of Honor Television Championship, that kind of thing would be a perfect play. I think Tony Nese is working his butt off. I've been really impressed with what he's been doing. Then we've also, a few weeks ago, the Butcher said that the Butcher and the Blade are back and that they will be, you know, taking names and kicking ass in AEW soon. I'm here for it. I would love to see these two veteran wrestlers do something more than Casino Gauntlet work and stuff like that. I'd like to see them get a chance to really, promote themselves and be a tag team, whether it's in AEW or Ring of Honor. I really do want them to go. Look, with the signings that Tony Khan has been doing, I firmly believe that the plan behind this is to make Ring of Honor a bigger thing. So being in Ring of Honor champion, people will say, oh, nobody ever watches Ring of Honor, which may be somewhat true. But I do believe that Ring of Honor is going to be more visible. And I do believe it's going to be more visible soon. That being said, I think the signings that AEW and Tony Khan have done are to some extent made to bolster the Ring of Honor roster. I really do believe that. And I do believe that Ring of Honor is going to be getting a little bit more attention. I do believe that they're going to be getting some sort of better deal than the Honor Club. Uh, I think it's going to be more visible. So,
Does
you
Tony
know,
Nese still do the varsity athletes gimmick or whatever it's called? What are they called?
they do
Yeah.
they do the varsity athletes. Smart Mark
Mm,
Sterling is their de facto leader, uh, and they have Tony Nese, and of course the thing that makes them stand out a little bit more now is that they have Story Denali in there,
yeah,
and I mean she's bigger than all the guys, and so she stands out. Of course, she doesn't really. She's young and she's green. She doesn't have a big
right.
move set, but the things that she does pretty well. But the only thing is that she's presented as a beast. And
Hmm.
I've never really seen her take a bump yet. She's the one
Yeah.
that she can deal a lot of damage, but I haven't seen her take bumps. So
So
she's not ready yet.
I like Tony Nese too. He usually makes who he works with look good. He knows his role on TV and does it well. And he's got a great physique. He's a good looking dude. He's good enough on the mic. We haven't really had a chance to see him really cut a serious promo because I think the varsity athletes is a bad gimmick. I think that the entire shtick is B team all stars level. Like it'll hold anybody back that's in there. So if they want to invest in Nice, it's got to be away from that. Um, I mean, he's got great potential. We've seen him work well in other places. We've seen him work well here. He's just stuck with a bad gimmick it's just not going to go anywhere.
I really want to see Nice put with Megan Bain into a male part of that group. I think he has a Greek look. I think it'd be fun. Get him on the stage a little bit. Get noticed. He can be their protector
The
as
arrogance works,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, the arrogance working. I really think he has a look and everything as well. And she needs kind of a male counterpart, god goddess type of thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean his
I think
physique's
it could work.
flawless.
It,
His physique's
it's
flawless.
better than where
Uh,
he is now.
Hmm.
yeah, I mean Joey Joey Janela, there's no chance of him coming to AEW, right?
I don't think
One can
AEW
hope.
needs them.
Yeah, because
I
let's
think he
face it.
burned a bridge ish.
Yeah.
Maybe they rekindled. I don't know, but
They haven't done graphics for Clark Connors and Finley yet, right?
Well, they Fightful has announced that Connors has signed. I haven't heard
Right, but they
anything
haven't done
about
graphics
Finley.
for him yet, right?
No, they
Yeah.
haven't done
So
graphics.
No, no.
I'm pretty sure Finley will be in too. They're gonna have almost the entire former War Dog stable. And to your point, Kelson, Tony does this where he'll load up and sign a bunch of people, and then everyone's like, "You don't have enough TV time for everybody." We all remember that's been a challenge for them. But I don't know how you can load up with a lot of the signings they've done, Kelson. Like you indicated, either you're going to create more TV time, whether that's in Ring of Honor for other people or not, or you're expecting departures and you're filling your bench with that next level of folks that you can start pushing to replace them.
Well, if you look, we talked about this at a little bit last week, Barry. If you look at the AEW roster, there is a lot of inactive, and I
Hmm.
use that term kind of, I don't know, but there's a lot of inactive wrestlers or talent. Let's use that word, talent, on the AEW roster. For example, if you look at both at the AEW and Ring of Honor rosters as of last week, I believe there were 41 women on the roster. But of those 41, only 21 of them are actively wrestling. There are women like Hikaru Shida and Riho and Mother Wayne,
Hmm.
Madison Rain that are still on the roster, but they're not wrestling. Britt Baker, Rebel. I mean, if you look at the women's roster on AEW and Ring of Honor, there are a wealth of women that are not wrestling and are not doing anything. So, yeah, the Ring of Honor and AEW women's roster has 41 women on it, but as of last week, there was only 21 active wrestlers in the women's division in both companies. And that's frankly not enough to be very diverse. You're just going to get a lot of the same women in the, in similar matches. Uh, and a lot of the women like Thunder Rosa, for example, are still on the roster but they haven't been around for a short while. I would say that Thunder Rosa's been out for a short while. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, when you look at a roster, you've also got to keep in mind that we don't know how the contracts are structured. Contracts may be structured in such that they only have to make X amount of appearances a year. That's happened. We saw the Young Bucks, as a matter of fact, last year, and kayfabe used that as they basically said we have this X amount of appearances that we have to do a year. We've reached that. So we're taking a couple of months off. You remember that? So that happens. Then you have, if you only have 21 active women wrestlers in two companies, basically, and you have an injury, that knocks it down. That not only destroys stories, but it also means one less person to wrestle. And of course, injuries do happen and illnesses happen, etc. And like I mentioned earlier, contracts happen. So you need wrestlers to fill in the voids, fill in the gaps. And that's probably what's going on. I mean, if you look at the AEW and Ring of Honor men's roster, you are also going to see a lot of, I mean, it's a significantly bigger roster, but you're still going to see guys like Mark Sterling who don't wrestle, Prince Nana who doesn't wrestle, Stokely Hathaway doesn't wrestle, Danhausen, Chris Jericho. There's so many people. If you look at the men's roster, sure, it's a big roster, but there's a lot of talent in that roster that do not wrestle. So it's kind of deceiving.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. But the flip side of that is there's a lot of talent they have that isn't on TV that can wrestle because there just isn't enough time. Now,
Absolutely.
I'm not a person who thinks you should sign talent just so the other side can't get them or necessarily because they're available. I think you need to there has to be value for them. You need to have something you can do with them or a reason you're bringing them in. Don't just sign somebody just to sign someone. But I still think the roster is bloated. I think there's people that aren't going to go anywhere. There's people on the roster, to your point, Kelson, that are listed as wrestlers that aren't. I wish they had a manager section or something like that. But there's still a lot of people that just they don't get on TV. So, like, what do you need more people when you can't even get all the active performers you have on TV? I don't know, man.
Well, you look at guys like Pretty Peter Avalon. I believe
Mhm.
Fightful even mentioned today that he's on the roster, but they said that he was on a per appearance. And I'm sorry if I'm misquoting here, but I believe Sean Ross Sapp said that Peter Peter Avalon is on the roster, but he's on a per appearance contract. So yeah, I mean, look, AEW has released a few people over the last few months. Uh, has any of these have any of these releases, maybe other, and when I say releases, let me rephrase that. It's people that have left the company, whether they've been released or they chose to leave, didn't re-sign, etc. I mean, Powerhouse Hobbs left. It remains to be seen if it was a good choice or not. I believe it probably will be, and I hope it is for his sake because I like the guy and I wish him nothing but the best. But let's face it, some of the releases that have been, or not the releases, but people that are no longer with AEW, some of them will move on and do great things, and some of them won't. It's just that simple.
Yeah, for sure.
And you've got people like that haven't made their debuts yet. We've talked about Finley. We've talked about Clark Connors. I mean, he did wrestle on Collision, but he hasn't gotten his graphic yet. Fightful has reported that Tatovic, a veteran wrestler from the Indies, is signed with AEW ROH. She is not debuted yet. Fightful also reported that Lena Cross is signed with AEW ROH. She is from Australia. She is now relocated to Orlando, another one of the neighbors for Barry. And I fully expect her to show up on next week at Grand Slam Australia. I really do. Or Grand Slam Sydney, I think they're calling it. Not Grand Slam Australia this time. So, yeah.
Quick little gag. So I do live in Orlando, and I've mentioned I see a lot of performers around the city out and about. When I lived in Atlanta for about 10 years, I only saw one wrestler, and it was AJ Styles. And I sat next to him on a shuttle from Hartsfield Jackson to Peachy Parking, off-site parking in Atlanta. And I sat next to him with his little Xbox 360 backpack and stuff.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And he knew I knew it was him.
What part of Atlanta did you live in?
Northern Atlanta, in a city called Woodstock.
Oh, you lived in Woodstock. I grew up in Marietta.
Oh, okay. My wife taught at Walton High School for a long
Well,
time.
that's right, because that's where I went to high school.
That's right. We talked about that. Yeah.
Of course, I wasn't in high school at the same time your wife was there.
Correct. So, but anyway, that's my AJ Styles story.
Yeah, but my thing is like with that, I mean, it really depends on where you live in Georgia and when, because when I lived in Marietta, my sister knew Buff Bagwell really well.
Yeah. Well, that's not true. I got a Bagwell story. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But my sister knew Buff Bagwell really well, and Cody Rhodes, Lita, and there's one or two others. Went to the same high school my sister did.
It's funny you mentioned that, and I just remembered AJ isn't the only one. So Cody used to work out at the Gold's Gym I did. I worked out at a Woodstock back when he was just starting in WWE, to the point where he spotted me and I spotted him on bench, squatting and stuff. Seemed like a really nice dude. And then Buff Bagwell worked out at a different Gold's Gym by me, and I watched his mom, Judy Bagwell, roll up in her minivan to pick him up from the gym on more than one occasion. So I got to see former WCW Tag Team Champion Judy Bagwell pick up her son, Buff.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's cool. The cool thing about where you live, if you live like in Orlando or if you used to live in the Marietta area, I mean, there's so many wrestlers that came from the Marietta area. They lived there even if they didn't grow up there. I mean, Sting and Lex Luger. Yeah, they lived in Marietta for a while. Not always, but they did live there.
One of my former bosses was a power lifter and trained at the gym that Sting and Lex and a lot of those guys trained at in Atlanta when they were in town.
Chris, did you have something to say?
No.
Okay. Oh, I thought you were breaking in there. Okay, well, let's move on because, well, it's time. It's time for It's a Kafabe, the segment where we talk about whatever in the wrestling world. Here comes the graphic. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Rio. It's Riho in a schoolgirl uniform with the pencil thin mustache.
With the pencil thin. She doesn't have the Matador cape or the beret though, man.
No, but she's a schoolgirl uniform because and the title on if you're not watching this and you're listening to it, it's not corny. It's a kafabe. It's a
kafabe.
Oh my god! This might be the best, worst thing I've ever seen.
That's great. Riho in the school outfit cracks me up.
It's so bad, it's wonderful.
Every time she shows up on TV, my buddy and I text each other. We're like, school's out early. Riho's working tonight.
No, you can't say that. When she wrestled at whatever it was it What was the last pay per view she wrestled at? Was it World's End Dynasty? I don't know.
Whatever.
That woman was not dressed up as a schoolgirl, and she
No.
was jacked.
Yeah.
I mean, she
All
looked like
business.
she could legitimately kick my ass easily. Not that she couldn't legitimately kick my ass
Oh,
before, but now, I mean, I when you look at
Yeah, I mean,
Riho, when you
she's a
look at
total
Riho,
freaking badass. And,
She just has a baby face. That's all.
she's tiny.
yeah.
That's the only
Yeah.
thing that's about Rio. She is jacked. Uh, she's an athlete, and it really pisses me off when people say disrespectful thing about Rio, because yes, the only thing that's negative about Rio as far as wrestling is that she is small and she has a disadvantage because she's never going to be able to pick up Megan Bain and have like convincing matches against Megan Bain, and that's simply because of her size. It has nothing at all to do with her talent.
But her building up a
Yeah, but
Megan
she's
Bain
got
suplex spot in a
crazy,
match would get over.
Yeah, you
and
know.
Couple
she's got
failed
such great
suplexes, and then at the
speed
end
and
she pulls it
strike,
off.
and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Okay, two people talking at once isn't going to work.
I'll stop, Chris. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's like she's got speed, she's got the strike, she's got, the technical ability. Like, yes, she's small, but she is a freaking badass, and that's what's so awesome about her. And yeah, like Barry said, man, building up to a suplex spot against someone like Megan Payne, dude, when she hits it, the crowd goes nuts. It's this big moment, set up for finisher, and it goes from there however you want to go. But like that part, her size isn't a disadvantage. It's a different type of advantage.
Right. And look, she's a woman. She's small. I don't see that as any reason to make fun of her for. I'm sorry. I just don't. Yes, she'll be in situations where it doesn't work, but show me a wrestler who isn't in a situation when he or she is in a situation where it won't work. It just doesn't make sense. It happens. It happens. So, but anyway, it's time for It's a Kafabe. And does anybody have a It's a Kafabe? And I gotta say, Ned has not been with us for a while, and she's probably sitting there going, "What the hell are these guys talking about?"
She's sick of us creepers. That's what she's sick of.
Yeah, but does anybody have an It's a Kafabe?
I don't know.
But
Go
Don't all go at
ahead.
once.
I have one real quick. Well, it's more of a self promotion. I showed this to Kelson a couple days ago, and I've been off the beaten path because I've been sick. But I started my own Instagram channel called AEW Fast Count, where I give some really short thoughts on what's going on in the AEW universe, and I'm trying to get it going. But like I said, I've been sick for a few days, so I kind of slowed down. Follow and
Yeah, I listened to it. You didn't respond to what I said. If you want to send them to me, I'll put them on the AEW Fan Hub YouTube channel. Give you full credit, for your shorts because you did do it in a reel or a short version. So yeah, let's build it up. I enjoyed it. It is very short, and like I believe it was like a minute long, and easy to listen to, and just a good opinion piece. Anybody else have a kafabe?
I mean, I've got the new Japan Roundup, but I figure we can save that for last. So anyone else who wants to jump on in.
I'm going to share a story real quick since I was sharing other wrestler stories, and it is the craziest pro wrestling story I have. So, when I was in college, I worked at Champ Sports in Oviedo Mall. Scott Hall would come in all the time. And one time he came in with his two kids, his son Cody, and I don't remember his daughter's name, but they were, I don't know, elementary school, fifth grade, fourth grade, something like that. So I'm helping them try shoes on. And Scott's like, yeah, get them whatever they want. So I'm helping his kids do shoes. And then I hear this weird moan and I turn around and Scott had collapsed and was having a seizure in the middle of the store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'd never seen anybody have a seizure before. I'm all of, 21 years old. So we cleared everything away. He had hit his head on an end cap display and it was bleeding pretty bad. But paramedics came, we shut the store down. And as he was coming to, he took a swing at a fireman because like he didn't know what was going on. And then was very apologetic afterwards once he came to and was conscious. But yeah, that's my Kafabe crazy pro wrestling story. That is the craziest pro wrestling story I've got.
Yeah, Nat, do you have a kafabe?
I don't think I have a kafabe. I haven't been to any independent wrestling shows lately. So,
Uh,
I don't think so. I mean, my last good time was I met Kevin Knight. That was pretty.
yeah. Speaking of Kevin Knight, we had mentioned earlier about Joey Janela and Megan Bain.
Oh yeah,
Yesterday, as a matter of fact, I believe it was yesterday, it may have been Sunday. They wrestled together as Janelisis
it was
against
Sunday.
Kevin. It was Sunday against Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey. And you can watch that match on the GCW YouTube channel as well as uh, the entire show is on YouTube. Another thing that's on YouTube is Stardom's New Blood. New Blood is a series that Stardom does. Uh, they did New Blood 28 this morning. You can watch that. I think it was 20. It's either New Blood 27 or 28. But they did one show this morning. They're doing one show tomorrow morning. Both shows start at 5 a.m. Eastern time. And of course, they are for free on YouTube and they're very interesting. I believe what the rules for New Blood are is that it's basically a rookie show. You have to be under 3 years of since your wrestling debut to participate in the New Blood, or you have to be under 20 years old. And you wouldn't believe the talent that is in Stardom that it participates in this show. And not only the Stardom, I mean, New Blood is one of those series that has not been around for too long, but um, the thing about the New Blood is like stars like Mina Shirakawa, Julia has been in New Blood. And it's interesting to see how they have evolved. So, I just wanted to bring up New Blood. If you're interested in it, you can watch it live tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Eastern time, or you can just go back and watch it. It's in a smaller setting. Matter of fact, this morning and also tomorrow, they have really young wrestlers. A lot of wrestlers start really young in Stardom. And I believe one of the women that wrestled this morning was 14 years old. And her tag team partner was 4 foot tall and 48 pounds. And, um, you know, it's interesting seeing these
Like
young
a shoot
kids.
48 pounds?
No, this young lady was tiny.
Okay.
I mean, that doesn't say her age, but I would say that she was 9 or 10.
Okay.
And if I'm wrong, I don't mean any disrespect. That's just my assessment of her. But when you look at it, you look at like Starlight Kid. I mean, most of us know who Starlight Kid is, right? Well, she was that age when she
Yeah.
started wrestling. So these are your future stars. Like I said, Mina Shirakawa was in New Blood. Julia was in New Blood. Just look at the star. Just go look up New Blood, and you'll see the listing of all these events that they've done. And they're sporadic. They're not like pay-per-views. They're literally all on YouTube, and you can go and watch these stars of today wrestling yesterday. And these are wrestlers that are now in AEW and WWE and TNA now, and of course, a lot of them are still in stardom. But, it's worth a shot. It's worth looking at because you get to see the future of women's wrestling. You really do. And I do. And it's enjoyable. It's fun to watch. It really is. Um, Anybody with the more um, any more it's a kafabes? Then Chris, I guess you could do your NJPW roundup.
All right, we'll go with the good. First off, two really fun Cork and Hall shows, February 1st and 2nd. If you have the time, they're definitely worth going back to watch. If you can't watch whole shows, on the Pure Wrestling chat in our Discord, I have top three matches for each event. And hey, since you're already on the Discord, check out some other stuff, talk with us, have a little fun on there. Um, Other good news, the 2026 New Japan Cup winner was crowned on the first. I have a 72-hour spoiler rule, so I'm not going to reveal who. Go back and watch the match. It is definitely worth it. One of my favorite matches of the week, of the 2 days. Ah,
Chris,
yeah,
what event is New
but there is
Japan
bad.
What event is New Japan running in New Jersey next month? What's that called?
That is their New Beginning USA show.
New Beginning. Yeah, because Athena is challenging Mayu Iwatani for the IWGP Women's Championship at New Beginning.
Yes, yes, they're currently on their Road to New Beginning tour. The next big event is the 11th. Some great matches, but since that's next week, that will be my New Japan talk for next week.
Well, I want to
Uh,
talk about
but
a
there
little
is
bit
bad
about.
news.
Go ahead.
Uh, there is bad news out of New Japan, though. Hiromu Takahashi will be leaving after the New Beginning event on February 11th.
Right,
Los Ingobernables de Japón forever.
right. Let me, along those lines, Chris, and well, everybody, um, New Japan has been bleeding talent a lot. Let's face it, they're hurting. I don't know what your assessment is, Chris, because you definitely watch more New Japan than everybody else. But would you agree that New Japan, in their current uh, state, is hurting?
They are struggling for sure. The Japanese economy is still struggling to come back after the pandemic. They were hit a little bit harder than other places. I mean, nowhere is back yet, but they're definitely struggling a little more. And when that happens, things like events take a backseat to all of their finances. So you, you have less fans coming, but it has been coming back. But they're in a weird point where they're going to lose more of their foreign talent and have to rely far more on their Japanese talent, which can alienate some Western fans. Personally, I don't care. I watch for the freaking wrestling, and there are some amazing Japanese wrestlers, British wrestlers, Maori wrestlers there, Australia, all kinds. But they definitely will will focus less on the people that have to bring in and pay traveling expenses for like flights and all that kind of stuff.
So with New Japan, AEW has signed a lot of CMLL talent to dual contracts. Do you see that as a viable solution for New Japan, where AEW steps in? Because look, it's clear that New Japan is struggling. Where Bushi Road owns New Japan and Stardom, and Stardom is not struggling. New Japan is, frankly, it's bad.
You know, I can't disagree. There's still some great matches that happen. I mean, absolutely amazing match between Zack Sabre Jr. and Yoshihashi on the February 2nd show. But it's just, it's not enough right now. I mean, they're still riding the high of, you Wrestle Kingdom, but that was 1000% Tanahashi and Okada, who one is now retired and one is main time AEW. So yeah,
Right? Yeah,
they
you
still
can't use
gotta
Wrestle Kingdom
figure
as a
out who their
barometer.
next star is.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
exactly. Who
they
is
still
there
gotta.
in New Japan? That maybe AJ Styles goes there to do an injection of excitement. I don't know, but maybe we'll
You
talk
know,
about this some more.
that
Next
would
week.
actually be a big deal for that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think
maybe
that's
we'll talk about this more next
a
week.
good deal for next week.
Yeah, but we are getting a little bit long on time, so I want to go ahead and wrap this up. We will see you next week on Tuesday at 8:45 Eastern Time for AEW Fan Hub's Ignition. We will be back again, like I said, on Tuesday, as we are every Tuesday. Check us out on YouTube and X, and you can also, if you prefer to listen to the audio version, we normally have the audio version up Wednesday morning, early Wednesday morning. So you can listen to that on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Audible. So there's plenty of places to listen to AEW Fan Hub's Ignition. Just do a search for Ignition and you should be able to find us. And also, if you've noticed, if you've been watching, you're on the screen. We are on a bunch of social media networks. We're on pretty much anything that you want to see. So just search for AEW Fan Hub on your favorite social media network, and you'll find us. And of course, we also are on Discord. And the link to our Discord, which is Everything Pro Wrestling Hub, it is not just AEW, it is all of professional wrestling, where the other social networks cover specifically AEW. Our Discord is for everything pro wrestling, and if you like pro wrestling, you'll like our Discord. The link to the Discord will be in the description of this podcast. But for now, that's it for the show. Thanks for listening and watching, everybody. We'll see you next week. By the way, be sure at when Dynamite ends tomorrow night for a really fun review of Dynamite. Go into the at EPW show on YouTube. That is our partners, Everything Pro Wrestling. They do a Dynamite review about, I don't know, 10 minutes or so after Dynamite goes off the air. They're very fun, very interactive. Give it a shot. All right, we'll see you on Tuesday for the AEW Fan Hub podcast team. Good night, everybody.
Good night.